Hello, and welcome to this ISO 55001 Lead Auditor Training course. In this session, we'll cover the essential aspects of ISO 55001, focusing on its purpose, structure, key principles, and your role as a lead auditor. Whether you're new to asset management or an experienced professional, this overview will give you the foundational knowledge needed to lead successful audits of asset management systems. So, let's dive in and explore the importance of asset management and how ISO 55001 helps organizations effectively manage their assets. ISO 55001 is an international standard for asset management, providing a framework for organizations to establish, implement, and continually improve an asset management system. This system ensures that assets are managed to achieve the organization's strategic objectives, optimize performance, and minimize risks and costs over their life cycle. As a lead auditor, your responsibility is to evaluate how effectively these principles are being applied within the organization. A successful audit will not only verify compliance but also provide insights into areas where asset management processes can be further improved. Overview of ISO 55001. ISO 55001 is part of a series of standards known as ISO 55000. This family of standards is focused on helping organizations manage their assets in a way that maximizes value and minimizes risk. Asset management, according to ISO 55001, is a strategic approach to ensuring that assets are utilized efficiently, cost-effectively, and in alignment with the organization's objectives. The main objective of ISO 55001 is to ensure that asset management systems are integrated into the organization's broader management system. It focuses on both physical assets, like equipment, buildings, and machinery, and non-physical assets, such as intellectual property and data. By following ISO 55001, organizations can ensure that they make data-driven decisions about asset performance, reduce unforeseen costs, and optimize the lifecycle of their assets, from acquisition to disposal. As a lead auditor, you will be tasked with verifying whether these systems are well implemented and whether they align with the organization's strategic goals. You'll also need to identify opportunities for improvement, ensuring that asset management practices contribute to the overall success of the business. Key principles of ISO 55001. Now, let's delve deeper into the core principles that form the foundation of ISO 55001. These principles guide how organizations should approach asset management, and as a lead auditor, it's important to assess how well these principles are being followed. Alignment with organizational objectives. Asset management should directly support the organization's broader goals and strategies. For example, if a company's strategy involves expanding its market share, its asset management system should ensure that the necessary physical and non-physical assets are available and operating at optimal performance to support this goal. Your role as an auditor will be to verify that asset management practices are not just a standalone function but are fully integrated into the organization's strategic planning and decision-making processes. Lifecycle management. Managing assets through their entire lifecycle is crucial. From acquisition, through use, to eventual disposal, each stage offers opportunities to maximize value and minimize waste. As a lead auditor, you'll be evaluating whether the organization has a clear process in place for managing the entire lifecycle of its assets, including maintenance plans, performance monitoring, and effective disposal strategies. Value optimization. The goal of asset management is not just to keep assets running but to extract maximum value from them. This includes reducing downtime, extending asset life cycles, and ensuring that assets perform at the lowest possible cost. When auditing, you will assess how the organization optimizes value through predictive maintenance, risk assessments, and ongoing cost analysis, ensuring that asset-related decisions are made with a focus on efficiency. Risk-based approach. ISO 55001 stresses the importance of taking a risk-based approach to asset management. This means identifying potential risks related to asset failure, cost overruns, or underperformance, and implementing proactive measures to mitigate them. As an auditor, you need to assess how well the organization identifies, evaluates, and addresses risks in their asset management practices. Structure of the ISO 55001 standard. Let's now take a look at the structure of ISO 55001. The standard is divided into 10 clauses, each focusing on specific requirements for the asset management system. Understanding these clauses will be essential as you conduct your audit, ensuring that each component of the system meets the required standard. Clause 1. Scope. This clause outlines the scope of the standard, indicating that ISO 55001 applies to organizations seeking to manage their assets effectively, whether they are in manufacturing, energy, infrastructure, or any other industry. It provides the basis for the overall asset management framework. Clause 2. Normative references. This section lists any relevant standards or documents that support the implementation of ISO 55001. It's important to understand these references to ensure that your audit covers all related standards and industry best practices. Clause 3. Terms and definitions. In order to properly implement and audit the standard, it's crucial to have a clear understanding of the key terms defined in ISO 55001. This clause ensures that auditors and organizations are on the same page when discussing asset management concepts. Clause 4. Context of the organization. This is one of the most important clauses in the standard. It requires organizations to understand both the internal and external factors that affect their asset management system. This includes everything from market conditions to technological advancements to regulatory requirements. As a lead auditor, you'll evaluate how well the organization has identified and addressed these factors. Clause 5. Leadership. Asset management starts at the top, and this clause ensures that leadership within the organization is fully committed to the asset management system. It emphasizes the need for a policy, clear goals, and active involvement from senior management to align asset management with the company's overall strategy. Clause 6. Planning. This clause covers how organizations should plan their asset management objectives, including risk assessments, setting clear targets, and defining performance metrics. Your role in auditing this section is to ensure that planning is based on a solid understanding of risks and opportunities, as well as a clear roadmap for achieving the organization's asset management goals. Clause 7. Support. This clause focuses on ensuring the organization has the necessary resources to implement and maintain the asset management system. This includes competence, training, communication, and documentation. As an auditor, you will need to assess if the organization is adequately supporting the system with the right resources. Clause 8. Operation. This covers the operational processes needed to manage assets effectively. It includes procedures for maintenance, monitoring, and controlling asset performance. Auditors should evaluate whether these processes are effective and efficient. Clause 9. Performance evaluation. This clause deals with monitoring and evaluating the effectiveness of the asset management system. Organizations must regularly assess performance and take corrective actions when necessary. As a lead auditor, you need to evaluate the monitoring systems in place and ensure they are yielding accurate and actionable results. Clause 10. Improvement. The final clause emphasizes continuous improvement. ISO 55001 is not a one-time fix but a framework for ongoing enhancement. Your job as an auditor is to verify that the organization has processes in place for corrective actions and continual optimization of its asset management system. The role of a lead auditor. Now, let's take a deeper look at your role as a lead auditor. As a lead auditor, you'll be responsible for leading audits of asset management systems, ensuring compliance with ISO 55001, and identifying areas where the system can be improved. You're not just checking boxes. You are assessing the effectiveness of an organization's approach to managing its critical assets and determining if it supports strategic objectives. Planning and conducting audits. Your role begins with thorough planning. This involves understanding the scope of the audit, gathering necessary documents, and communicating with relevant stakeholders. You need to assess the organization's asset management system in relation to the ISO 55001 requirements, ensuring everything from leadership commitment to operational processes aligns with the standard. Evaluating compliance. As an auditor, you will evaluate whether the organization meets the requirements outlined in ISO 55001. This involves reviewing documentation, interviewing personnel, and observing operations. You'll assess whether the organization has identified and addressed risks, how well it's meeting its asset management objectives, and whether it's optimizing asset value.